Hey Collective, welcome back. It's been a while. End of summer vacations and another big house move. This has been the third time I've moved in a year. But hopefully, this will be the last for a while. So, new city, new background, new lighting. I'm still trying to get used to all of it. So, you may see me move locations around the house until we get it right, but bear with me. It's good to be back, though. Today, I want to talk about maturity and what it means to grow the fuck up. What does it mean to be mature? To me, it means holding your peace when your heart is breaking and still speaking kindness from a place that knows pain well. Maturity is not about age or how many years you've walked on this planet. It's about how much love you've carried through those years and how you kept your composure when the world tried to steal it. It's easy to separate people into categories, to label someone as different, wrong, foolish, or even lost. But true maturity asks more of you. It asks you to pause before you pass a verdict. It asks you to listen, not just to words, but what lies beneath them. It asks you to let go when you want to hang on. When you're mature, you understand people are not their worst moments. That behind every anger, there might be a wound. Behind every action, there's a story. And behind every cold word, a memory that stings. You don't excuse the behavior, but you no longer feel the need to attack it. You don't take it personal. You stop needing to be right all the time because now you know being whole matters more. I have learned the more you grow, life will give you plenty of chances to judge others. But maturity teaches you to use those chances to show compassion instead. It teaches you to ask better questions, like what shaped them? What hurt them? What fear are they carrying? You learn to look at someone's brokenness and not flinch. You learn to see the ache in the anger, the child in the adult, and the sorrow in the silence. It's easy to sit back and cast judgment, to gossip, to create false narratives. It takes strength to look someone in the eye and still offer grace when they've made a mess of things. It takes patience to say, I don't understand your choices, but I'm not here to condemn you. That kind of patience isn't weak. That kind of love isn't blind. It's brave. It's conscious. It's what maturity looks like when it steps into the room without needing applause. Know this. Maturity is knowing everyone is fighting something you can't see. That right there will allow you to stop assuming. You stop expecting perfection from people who are still learning, just like you. You offer room to stumble, room to grow, room to rise. You realize understanding doesn't mean agreement, and kindness doesn't mean approval. It just means you've decided not to add more hurt to the world. And yes, judgment feels powerful in the moment, but understanding is what brings healing. It's what will soften hearts, repair bridges, and rebuilds what pride once broke. Understanding is what lets you hold boundaries without building walls. It lets you walk away from drama without dragging bitterness behind you. It allows you to see the whole picture and still choose peace. This choice to understand instead of judge doesn't happen once. It happens over and over and over again. When you're hurt, when you're tired, when someone disappoints you, when life throws you tests dressed as people, every single time you'll have to decide, will I respond from my wounds, or will I respond from my wisdom? That is the real work of becoming. Not just growing older, but growing deeper. Deeper in empathy, deeper in patience, deeper in love that can hold its shape under pressure. You see, maturity isn't loud. It's steady. It's solid. It doesn't need to win arguments. It's too busy building bridges. So, what does it mean to be mature? It means knowing people will not always act right, speak right, or love right. And still choosing not to let that change the goodness in you. I think one of my favorite quotes of all time is "Silence is golden." But it took maturing to understand just how powerful silence can truly be. A mature soul knows silence can speak louder than shouting. Not because there's nothing to say, but because not everything needs to be said. Sometimes silence is not absence, it's presence. It is not weakness, it's wisdom wrapped in quiet. When you're younger, still learning how to carry your feelings, silence can feel like surrender. You think, if I don't speak, I'll be misunderstood. If I don't yell, they won't hear me. So you raise your voice, sharpen your tone, and try to make your pain louder than the room. But with time, with growth, with the bruises life brings and the lessons that follow, you learn silence is not only golden, it's about rising above. It's about no longer needing noise to prove your point. Maturity teaches you not every insult needs a comeback. Not every disagreement needs a debate. You start to choose peace over proving, and inner stillness over outer validation. This doesn't mean you've become passive. It means you've become selective with your energy. You know what deserves your voice, and more importantly, you know what doesn't. There is power in holding your tongue. Not out of fear, but out of intention. You've seen what words can do when thrown like stones, and how conversations can turn into a battlefield. How love can be buried under sharp syllables. So now you pause. You breathe before you speak. And it's not that you don't feel, because how could you not feel the sting of disrespect? The tension in the silence, and the complete disregard for your feelings. But the difference is, now you know how to carry those feelings, your worth, and exactly where the door is. That is maturity. Feeling deeply, but responding wisely. Remember this, sometimes the loudest message is in what you choose not to say. You walk away from gossip when your younger self would have leaned in. You stay quiet during chaos because adding more noise won't bring peace. You let others have the last word, not because they're right, but because you're free. That's the difference. Maturity is freedom. Yes, you can leave the table without flipping it over. And no, not every fight deserves your fists. Some things deserve your forgiveness, your silence, your exit. Maturing is choosing healing over hostility. And the beautiful thing is, no one has to understand your choice but you. Quit asking how others will see you if you leave, and start asking, how will I see myself if I stay? Because maturity is about alignment. It's about honoring the version of yourself you're becoming, not defending the version someone else expects you to be. There will be times when your peace is mistaken for weakness, and times when people don't understand your silence. Let them misunderstand. I have learned Maturity isn't about being understood by everyone. It's about being at peace with yourself, regardless of who claps or criticizes. Have love for yourself, love for your growth, love for your mental clarity, and love for the future you're protecting. Gone are the days of needing to be right or proving your worth to people who couldn't see it clearly. You don't walk away empty, you walk away free. That is what maturity looks like when it shows up fully grown. There is so much strength in learning to feel everything. Every heartbreak, every disappointment, every wave of anger, and every depth of sadness. And still not letting those emotions take the wheel. Maturity doesn't mean having less emotion. It means your emotion no longer controls your direction. It took me a long time to learn the weight of my own feelings. Every emotion felt like the truth. They'd rush in and take over, and I'd find myself speaking from frustration, from fear, from anger. I confused feeling something deeply with needing to act on it immediately. But then life happens. You get your heart broken a few times. You see how words spoken in anger can last longer than the moment that caused them. You see how decisions made in pain create problems peace could have prevented. You learn to pause. You learn to breathe. You learn to let emotions pass through you instead of taking hold of you. That's the shift, friends. Maturity has arrived when you learn that emotions are visitors, not masters. They come to tell you something, to teach you something, not to take control. They ask for care, for understanding, for space. But they don't always tell the full truth, and they're not old enough to drive. So, friends, feel the anger, but don't let it speak on your behalf. Feel the sadness, but don't let it sink you. Feel the fear, but never let it choose your path. That is the quiet power of emotional maturity. When you're mature, your emotional compass changes. You quit being messy. You no longer chase chaos just to feel something. You no longer explode just to feel heard. Instead, you grow the fuck up and do the inner work. You sit with your own mess. You learn how to self-soothe, how to ask yourself, is this feeling permanent? Is this truth or just a passing storm? You learn how to wait. Now, don't get it twisted. I'm a calm, peaceful, quiet person for the most part. Spiritual, yes. But play in my face, disrespect me or those I love, and you will get put in your place. Quickly. But I've learned the difference between expressing emotion and being ruled by it. I don't deny my fire. I've just learned how to keep it from burning everything down. So, friends, learn how to carry your heavy feelings with grace. You don't need others to understand your process. You don't need applause for your restraint. You know how far you've come. You know what it takes to sit with that kind of emotion instead of throwing it at others. That is something only maturity can teach. So, be passionate but not reactive. Feel deeply but walk wisely. Honor your heart, but don't let it lead you off course. Because that kind of strength holds steady when everything else shakes. And allow maturity to teach you to quit begging for the presence of others and start honoring your own. Until next time, friends, keep healing. See ya.